Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures, and as I promised, the work has begun on the bank here and it's working out what to do with what and where to put it all. And do I use one greenhouse which is 10 foot long, or do I put both together and have a 20-foot long covered polytunnel? Yes, covered polytunnel. Well, it's good to have you on board. Sit back, relax, welcome to the show. And it's really cold out today actually, but the sun's here, so things will slowly start to warm up. Exciting times ahead. Well, I've come inside the greenhouse, and because I'm about to start my first chitting potatoes. Yes, I'm going to chit some potatoes. I've been to my local garden centre and I call it the Brothers. I don't know why. Maybe it's run by brothers. They're amazing. It's a lovely little garden centre. Having said that, actually, they do all sorts of things. They supply our local council here, our parish council, with all their hanging baskets for the areas, all the flowers that they put in. It comes from there. So they're really good, they're very competitive actually. And I've spent some of my birthday money. It wasn't my birthday, it was in January, but it's still in January. The longest month ever in the world apparently. So I bought two types of potatoes, and I bought new types. I've not grown these before. There was a huge choice, about 20 or 30 different varieties of potatoes, from first earlies through to main crops, and then you've got the mid crop. There's all sorts of different varieties, and they do all sorts of different things. So what I've done is I've decided for my first crop, which is the first early, and these are called Casablanca. I'll put this on actually. This is Casablanca, and this is what is near the potatoes, so you know what you're buying. And it says that these are very good for baking, boiling, chipping, mashing and roasting. All the things I love to do. I'm not one for having salad potatoes with my salads. Not that sort of, I don't know really. I think there should be, anyway, there you go. I won't witter on about that. Let's get on. You can plant these March, April, and they harvest around June and July time. Now these, because they're earlies, they're 10 to 12 weeks germination time. So that's the time they should be in the ground. So the Casablanca, the little write up here, are a new white-skinned first early with the potential to beat Winston on the show bench. Now I've not seen Winston. They didn't have any in yesterday for me to have a look at. But I presume then Winston are really good at showing. If you have little competitions, maybe they're unblemished on the outside and they're all roughly the same size potatoes. It says here they are a clean, smooth white with shallow eyes, and it makes this an exhibitor's delight. So as I say, if you're doing those little garden fetes, this one seems to be the one to go for. And it says it's a chef's dream with the ability to chip, bake, boil, and nicely done apparently. So edible sized crops can happen within 62 days of planting. So that's what it says on there. It tells you all about it, and I'm going to keep those next to my potatoes and make sure I've got the right one. And look at that bag. All of that bag there I got for £4. So there's loads of potatoes in there. Imagine if I plant all of those, I'll need a massive more space than I've got already. But I'm going to experiment this year. I'm going to do some in the ground, and also I'm going to put a few of these into tubs and just keep filling them up and see what happens. Obviously the tubs are more difficult to look after because you've got to water them, not overwater, all those things. So fingers crossed we get some really decent weather. So that's the first one, the Casablanca, first early. The next one I've gone for is a seed called Setanta, and they're a red-skinned potato. And I've been having a few of those over the summer and over winter period, and they've been really nice actually. These again, all-rounder, good for baking, boiling, chipping, mashing and roasting. Now these are a main crop, so again you can put them in March through to April, and again they'll harvest July to September, so later on in the period, but then they're in the ground longer, 15 to 22 weeks in the ground rather than the earlies, which are 10 to 12 weeks. So a slow germination time, but apparently these are really good. Same as the Casablanca, they've got very, very nice yellow flesh. The skin, their little eyes aren't massive and all over. What am I saying here today? Tomatoes already. I've got tomatoes on my brain. I don't know why. So the eyes aren't intrusive. And again, blight resistant and scab resistant. So that's why I've chosen both these varieties. They're both resistant. I've had a bit of a scab here last year on some of the potatoes. And potato blight, well, it can happen around here. It can happen on any allotment, any growing space. So I'm hoping these will resist that this year, which means I get a fantastic crop of potatoes. And again, another bag full. Look at all those in there for £4. So for £8, I think I've got a really good bargain. And well, I look forward to sowing those and planting those. But first, I'm going to chit them. Now, we all know about chitting, don't we? Do we? Not? Yes, let's have a look. We'll get my scissors and let's get one of these packets open. In fact, I don't know if I need to do that. I can just need to pull it off the top. There you go. And it will open very nicely. That's very good of it, isn't it? Not to be all tied together. Let's do that. Oh, says he who can't get into the bag. Oh, yes, we can. There you go. So you get your lovely potato. And you can see already, I'll just hold it up towards you. There, look. Just there. It's starting to chit already. And that's where your potatoes will start to grow from. Well, it'll send stalks and stems out. So you need to put those, if you've got anything, you can use egg cartons, or I'm going to just use these trays before I start putting my bulbs in. And pop them in there, not facing upwards, so it grows towards the light, and pop them all into this seed tray here. Now, obviously there's different sizes, but try and find the ones where the eyes are. Some of these haven't got them yet, so I'm going to go through and look. Oh, that one's growing as well. So we pop those in there, and they're coming up, so keep them up so they're growing the right way. If you can't find the growing, leave them around. You'll soon find it, and then you can better position those in the right spaces. It's always good to put a little cover over the top, because even in here with the light, you don't want them turning green. They'll go in this greenhouse here behind me, and well, can't see anything on that one, but looking at where I think it's going to come that way. I think that one will come that way too. That's got a little one. So that's all you do. Carry on doing that. And well, I'm going to place my, here we go, make sure I get the right ones. That's Casablanca. They'll go on top of that like that. And the job's are good, as I say. Well, here I'm back in the greenhouse, and I've been shopping again. I know I can't help it, can I? I went out because on a local marketplace on my phone, I saw someone selling some plant pots. And they were £5 for, let me come closer. Here we go. I put them over here. Oh, look at that lot. £5. There's about 230 plant pots here. They're 9 centimetres apart size-wise. Let me just prop them back up again. So they're decent sized plant pots. I have to wash them all. They have been pre-washed apparently, but I'm going to have another go with them. And then it'd be great to plant things in from now on in. All my seeds, we'll have lots and lots of those for £5. Amazing. One of those trays full of those would be at least, I think, £12 for that sort of size. So I've done really well there. Alt for naught, really, I suppose. £5 for all those pots. I'm really pleased with that. Now, speaking of pots, I've got a big one here. We'll come to that in a moment. But first of all, I went shopping whilst I was out, popped in a local garden centre. And as you do this time of year, just go and have a pot around. You never know, you might find some stuff on sale. I've got a few sale items here, actually. Some kohlrabi, which is a bit like turnips, actually. They grow to maybe golf ball size, tennis ball size. When they're that size, get them out and get them cooking. The leaves you can have raw on salads. It's got quite a nutty flavour. Never grown them before. There's 7 in here for 50p. So I'm going to get those in those pots to start them off and keep them going, keep them fed and watered. I've also got some lovely rocket, some wild rocket here. This is looking a bit forlorn, a bit leggy, but we'll get those out again, get those in those pots and give them a good start, hopefully, in the greenhouse here. And hopefully we'll get them into nice mature plants that we can start taking, because once that starts growing, cut, and it'll grow again. Cut and grow stuff as I like. Also what I got was, now they were 50p each a strip, so that's very good value. Should have been about £4, which is not too bad, is it? In this pot, we had some rosemary, and rosemary smells absolutely delicious. In fact, I popped it over here at the moment because it was very, very dry. And I popped it in, all it is, look, it's a bit leaky at the end. I've got some water in here in an old milk pot, and it's been cleaned out, so there's no milk left, and it's slowly drinking the water up. That's why I think it was for sale. It was just not watered, drying out a little bit. I got the best of the bunch, I have to say. So I'm very, very pleased with that. Now, I'm going to pot that in this pot here. At the bottom of this pot, because it's got some very big holes indeed, 6 holes, we've got a mat in. And this is what we used to put under all my plants, and it would retain moisture. So I'm going to pop that in the bottom, which means when this is watered, it will retain some moisture in the bottom too. Capillary matting, I've got some more around. You can make little strips, you know, and you can have a pot like this, a milk pot, up high, and have a little bit of strip down. It will slowly feed down into your plants or onto your matting and keep it watered if you're going away for a period of time. So really good stuff is capillary matting. Very, very useful in all walks of growing or whatever you're doing at home, any type of gardening. So I've got this here. I'm going to put my little gloves on because, of course, compost has all sorts of things in. And if you've got any cuts or sores, not that I have. Now, again, this has been in here, so we'll get a bit of that, stick some in there, pop it in the bottom because, of course, this rosemary is now going to think it's payday, it's birthday. Yeah, how exciting. Pop that in there. We'll take that out now. That's been beautifully watered. We'll just stick that in there. And then we'll just surround it with love and lots of new compost. Oh gosh, the smell is delicious. The funny thing is, when you see a massive big plant of rosemary like this, and it's grown into a bush, because they grow into bushes, it's not dissimilar to lavender, how it looks. Obviously it's got a rosemary smell. This can be used in cooking, all sorts of different uses for cooking. I mean, the main one, of course, if you're not a vegetarian, is a lamb. You put your rosemary around lamb. But this here, look, I'm making a right mess, aren't I? But it doesn't matter. Look at that. Beautifully done. That cost me £1.70. It's going to be nicely watered in there. It's going to really enjoy it. We'll keep it in here, the greenhouse, so I can keep an eye on it, keep it away from the cold. And let's get that watered. Use the water, of course, for my homemade. Now I'm going to pour this directly down the middle, and then we'll put a bit round the edges so that the whole of that compost is nice and moist. And we'll keep an eye on that over the next few weeks, and let's hope we can revive it. Oh gosh, the smell is absolutely delicious. I'm hoping that now will get, and once it gets going in here, when the weather gets nice outside, I need to find somewhere really beautiful and sunny to put this. It's exciting. £1, what was that? 79 pence for a lovely new rosemary plant. What a day I've had. How fantastic. I'm just sat here listening to the lovely birds above my head. I said birds, it's one bird. I can't quite identify it. You can get apps actually for your phones and devices, so it can listen and tell you exactly what it is. It's just in silhouette, it's very difficult to tell. It could be a robin, it could be a little, well, I don't know what it could be actually. I can't see it now, it's vanished. A little blob in the air, sat on a branch. I'm here on the bank, just before the end of this morning, here on the allotment, and I've hit a snag. Well, I've hit 2 snags actually, because I'm digging trenches out to put the base of the frame into. And, well, I've hit 2 roots from the big tree that's here on the allotment, and it's a cherry tree, but it's an old cherry tree, so it's a bit useless really. It gets some cherries, but they're very, very small, and it's just a pain, because obviously when the cherries drop off, they come onto the ground, and you just have to tidy up all the time. It gets everywhere, but they just attract wasps really, which is all right. I don't mind a wasp now and again, but you don't want too many, do you? And it is, I suppose, food for some of the birds here. But they very rarely come and take the fruits. So, well, more of those things. Yes, but the roots are here. I've now got to go and find my saws in the hope I can cut them out. It won't really affect the tree. Although, as I say, it's getting very long and leggy. It's very top heavy now. Because over the years, I think people just cut the branches off from the bottom, trying to not encourage it to grow. But it has grown. The problem is I can't cut it down. I'll have to get someone to come in, because you look at them and think, well, that's all right, I could do that. Well, I've cut a couple of branches down in the past myself, actually, when they've got a bit too heavy. And they're massive. And they cover probably the whole of the allotment. It doesn't look like it, so I need to have a professional come. They can go up there and they can shred them all for me, all the branches, and I can use them in pathways. And there's mulch, so that would be really good, a good byproduct. And of course, the tree itself, chop into logs and have on my burner, which is fab. Well, I'm going to carry on here, trying to get this done, hopefully get the greenhouse moved, the frame, and then we're going to establish it here, get it covered, and enable it to warm up over the next couple of weeks before the real sun starts to happen. And well, it's great to have you on board. Great to have you with me along with this journey for this new season. Fingers crossed that we have a fantastic growing season. Everything's coming up. All the plants that I bought today for 50p, the reductions, they're actually taking. They look really big and strong, which is nice. None have wilted, but they've been well watered. I come down every day and have a look, check them out. Even the rosemary looks nice. And by gum, it smells delicious, that rosemary. Incredible. But where to put it? Do I keep it in a tub? A pot? What do I do with it? Or do I plant it somewhere in full sun? It smells delicious. Yeah, what to do with the rosemary? Anyway, thanks for being here on the allotment with me. I'll see you next time here on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Ta-ra for now.